Azure Cosmos DB, questions and answers. 1. Question: what is the main function of a database in Azure Cosmos DB? Answer: in Azure Cosmos DB, a database serves as a logical container for holding a set of containers, tables, collections, or graphs. 2. Question: how is the throughput provisioned at the database level? Answer: in Azure Cosmos DB, throughput can be provisioned at the database level and shared across multiple containers within that database. 3. Question: what is a collection in Azure Cosmos DB? Answer: a collection in Azure Cosmos DB is a schema-agnostic container for JSON documents. 4. Question: is it possible to have multiple partition keys in a single collection? Answer: no, each collection can have only one partition key. 5. Question: how do containers relate to collections in Azure Cosmos DB? Answer: in Azure Cosmos DB, containers and collections are essentially the same. The term container is more generic and can hold items, stored procedures, triggers, and UDFs. 6. Question: can you update the partition key of a container after it's been created? Answer: no, the partition key of a container is immutable once the container has been created. 7. Question: what is a logical partition in Azure Cosmos DB? Answer: a logical partition is a subset of items in a container that have the same partition key value. 8. Question: what is the maximum size limit of a single logical partition? Answer: the maximum size limit of a single logical partition is 20 GB. 9. Question: what is change feed in Azure Cosmos DB? Answer: change feed is a feature that enables applications to subscribe to changes in a container. 10. Question: can change feed support multiple subscribers? Answer: yes, change feed can support multiple subscribers, enabling various scenarios like caching, data movement, and others. 11. Question: which Azure services can be integrated with Azure Cosmos DB? Answer: Azure Cosmos DB can be integrated with a variety of Azure services like Azure Functions, Azure Synapse Analytics, and Azure Stream Analytics. 12. Question: is it possible to integrate Azure Cosmos DB with Power BI? Answer: yes, you can integrate Azure Cosmos DB with Power BI using Azure Synapse Analytics as an intermediary. 13. Question: can you delete an Azure Cosmos DB database? Answer: yes, you can delete a database, but doing so will also delete all the containers and data within it. 14. Question: is it possible to migrate a database from one Azure Cosmos DB account to another? Answer: yes, data migration between Azure Cosmos DB accounts can be performed using tools like Azure Data Factory or the Cosmos DB Data Migration Tool. 15. Question: what is a TTL, time to live, setting in a collection? Answer: TTL is an optional setting that enables auto-expiration of items in a collection after a specified period. 16. Question: how is RU/S calculated for a collection? Answer: RU/S, request units per second, are calculated based on the CPU, memory, and I/O required to perform operations like read, write, and query on a collection. 17. Question: can a container span multiple regions? Answer: yes, Azure Cosmos DB containers can be geo-distributed across multiple Azure regions. 18. Question: how can you secure data within a container? Answer: data in a container can be secured using Azure AD-based authorization and encryption at rest. 19. Question: what is a physical partition in Azure Cosmos DB? Answer: a physical partition is an internal, fixed-size container that is managed by the Azure Cosmos DB service. 20. Question: can you manually split or merge physical partitions? Answer: no, Physical partitions are managed automatically by the Azure Cosmos DB service. 21. Question. How do you enable change feed in Azure Cosmos DB? Answer. Change feed is enabled by default and can be accessed using Azure Cosmos DB SDKs or Azure Functions. 22. Question. Can change feed capture deletes? Answer. No. By default, change feed does not capture delete operations. 23. Question. How does Azure Cosmos DB integrate with Azure Functions? Answer. Azure Cosmos DB can trigger Azure Functions through its change feed feature. 24. Question. What is the role of Azure Synapse Link in Azure Cosmos DB? Answer. Azure Synapse Link enables real-time analytics by linking Azure Cosmos DB to Azure Synapse Analytics without affecting operational workloads. 25. Question. How do you set the consistency level for an Azure Cosmos DB database? Answer. Consistency levels in Azure Cosmos DB can be configured at the account level and can be overridden on a per-request basis. 26. Question. What types of indexing policies are available at the database level? Answer. Azure Cosmos DB supports automatic indexing by default, and custom indexing policies can also be defined. 27. Question. Can you perform batch transactions in a collection? Answer. Yes, you can perform batch transactions in a collection through transactional batch operations. 28. Question. How do you back up data in a collection? Answer. Azure Cosmos DB automatically takes backups of your data, including collections, without affecting the performance of your database operations. 29. Question. What types of triggers can be set on a container? Answer. Pre-triggers and post-triggers can be set on a container to execute custom logic before or after an operation. 30. Question. Can you store multimedia data like images or videos in a container? Answer. While Azure Cosmos DB is not designed for binary large object storage, you can store links to multimedia files stored in Azure Blob Storage. 31. Question. What happens when a logical partition exceeds the maximum size limit? Answer. Once a logical partition reaches its maximum size limit, you cannot add more data to it unless you redistribute the data. 32. Question. How is data distributed across physical partitions? Answer. Data is distributed across physical partitions based on the hash value of the partition key. 33. Question. How can you filter items in a change feed? Answer. Azure Cosmos DB change feed does not support server-side filtering. You will have to implement filtering logic in your application code. 34. Question. Is ordering of events guaranteed in change feed? Answer. Yes. Change feed maintains the order of the events based on their occurrence. 35. Question. Can you use Azure Cosmos DB as a data source for Azure Machine Learning? Answer. Yes. You can use Azure Cosmos DB as a data source for Azure Machine Learning via data connectors. 36. Question. What role does Azure Databricks play in integration with Azure Cosmos DB? Answer. Azure Databricks can be used for large-scale data analytics and transformation tasks involving data stored in Azure Cosmos DB. 37. Question. What is automatic failover in the context of Azure Cosmos DB databases? Answer. Automatic failover allows Azure Cosmos DB to automatically switch your account's reads and writes to a secondary region in the event of a regional outage. 38. Question. Can you have a database in Azure Cosmos DB without any containers? Answer. Yes, it is possible to create an empty database without any containers, but it won't serve any operational purpose until containers are added. 39. Question. What is the impact of deleting a collection in Azure Cosmos DB? Answer. Deleting a collection will remove all its documents and associated configurations like indexing policies, triggers, and more. 40. Question. Can you rename a collection once it has been created? Answer. No. Once a collection is created, its name cannot be changed. 41. Question. What is the analytical store feature in the context of an Azure Cosmos DB container? Answer. Analytical store is a fully isolated column store for enabling large-scale analytics against operational data in Azure Cosmos DB, without affecting transactional workloads. 42. Question. Can you set a unique key constraint in a container? Answer. Yes. Azure Cosmos DB allows you to set unique key constraints to enforce uniqueness of one or more values per partition key. 43. Question. How can you determine the partition key to use for optimal performance? Answer. For optimal performance, choose a partition key that has a wide range of values and is evenly accessed, to distribute data and workload uniformly across partitions. 44. Question. Are there any limits on the number of partition keys you can have? Answer. Each container in Azure Cosmos DB can have only one partition key, but there are no limits on the number of unique partition key values. 45. Question. What is the latency for processing events in change feed? Answer. Change feed in Azure Cosmos DB is designed to deliver events with low latency, typically within seconds of data being modified. 46. Question. Can you pause and resume change feed processing? Answer. Change feed processing can be paused and resumed by stopping and starting the listener application. The state can be saved to resume from where it left off. 47. Question. How does Azure Cosmos DB integrate with Azure Search? Answer. Azure Cosmos DB can be integrated with Azure Search through its change feed feature to keep the Azure Search index synchronized with the data in Cosmos DB. 48. Question. Can Azure Cosmos DB be accessed via REST API? Answer. Yes. Azure Cosmos DB offers a RESTful HTTP API for interaction, making it possible to integrate with various platforms and services. 49. Question. What is multi-master replication in Azure Cosmos DB? Answer. Multi-master replication enables multiple write regions for globally distributed applications, improving both availability and latency. 50. Question. Can you change the throughput settings for a database after its creation? Answer. Yes. The throughput settings can be modified after a database is created, either manually or programmatically. 51. Question. Is it possible to change the indexing policy of an existing collection? Answer. Yes. You can update the indexing policy of an existing collection without any downtime. 52. Question. Can you move a collection to a different database within the same Azure Cosmos DB account? Answer. No. Once a collection is created under a database, it cannot be moved to another database. 53. Question. What role does time to live, TTL, play at the container level? Answer. Time to live, TTL, can be set at the container level to define the default expiration time for all items within that container. 54. Question. Is it possible to encrypt data within a container using customer-managed keys? Answer. Yes. Azure Cosmos DB allows you to encrypt data at rest using your own Azure Key Vault keys. 55. Question. What's the maximum size of a single item in a partition? Answer. The maximum item size is 2 megabytes. Thanks for watching.